So I'm working here on the bog filter, and so I'm going to drill the hole there. So far what I've done is just build a stand to fit inside of inside the pond. It could go outside the pond, but I decided I'd have it inside. Just give a place for the fish to hide, and that square fits perfectly inside the inside rim of this. And so this will obviously go sitting on top. And we have a hole here, and that's where the diffuser is going to fit. This for a second. So that's the diffuser, and just poke out here through here. I'm going to make a gasket to fit over this. Hopefully that'll seal up well. I was thinking about using the same type of gizmo they use on the bottom of toilet tanks. But we'll see. I'll just make a gasket and make that thing tighten up, and hopefully that'll seal up. I mean, if it doesn't have to seal up perfect, because this will be inside the pond. So if there's a little bit of a trickle there, it's not a big deal. But anyway, here's the diffuser. There'll be a little bit of gravel underneath it, and obviously you can see water's gonna pump through, go through both sides, go up the two sides, come out the holes, and then seep up through the gravel that will be inside. So hopefully that'll work well. And I'm kind of debating whether or not I actually want to glue these fittings with PVC cement. I may not, just because I kind of want to be able to pull them apart. If they're not completely watertight and there's just a little bit of a trickle, you know, everything's inside the pond, so it's not really a big deal. But that way I can pull it all apart should I ever need to clean it out or whatnot. So we'll see if that works. You know, I do have PVC cement, so I can do it if I need to. Of course, this will be sealed up, but that's kind of about it. Oh, and then once this comes up, then I'm going to drill another hole somewhere around here, I think about 6 or 7 inches up, and have another pipe leading out, and then it'll just kind of waterfall back into the pond. And so water will come up, roots will soak up the nutrients, and then it'll flow out. So that's the plan, at least. We'll see if it works. So for the pump, I forget what size pump this is, but anyway, I actually just used the packaging that came with it and use it as a housing for it. So I got the pump in here. I just have aquarium gravel inside. It acts as a filter, and a whole bunch of slits cut in with the razor blade. And so water can, you know, be pulled in, but, you know, minor filtration inside of there, but nothing significant. Mainly it's just to keep goop away. So, you know, probably debris will collect around it, which is fine. I can just, you know, pull that outside, because most of the filtration I want to occur inside here. So still figuring out the gasket to put on there. That's coming up next, and yeah, that should work. Okay, so here's the koi pond, the update. I do have the bog filter installed now. Not quite perfect, but it's doing okay. I actually need a little more gravel. I have some waters a little higher. I tried to drill some holes here, and that worked okay. Of course, the holes get a little filled up with other rain and debris. So I kind of like that, because it does give some aeration. Not quite enough. This thing is running off of, you can't see down there, but there's a little Harbor Freight pump, the cheapest one they have. It's very inconsistent. Sometimes this will be squirting over here, and sometimes it's doing that. I turn it off and on. I can think around with it. I've taken it apart a couple times. There's not much really to do with it. As far as the fish go, they've kind of changed behavior, and I'm attributing it to one of two things, or both. One, the plastic, that did not work for a couple of reasons. So I took the plastic out. So now we're going on to bare metal. So there's a possibility of zinc leaching in here because it's galvanized metal. What I've been doing is adding an additive to the water that neutralizes heavy metals and chlorine. And I'm hoping that'll take care of it, but, you know, I don't know. The other thing is the ammonia levels are getting pretty high. I've been doing water changes, and that helps. I think really it's just the biological filtration process has not really established here, because when I look at, if you're familiar with the nitrogen cycle, we go from ammonia, gets broken down by nitrates, and then by nitrites to nitrates. And so right now, our nitrites are a little higher and nitrates are nothing, but ammonia is pretty high, which tells me that it's just kind of in the process but hasn't stabilized yet. So just got to continue with some very frequent water changes. And when I say water changes, I'm taking out maybe 20 to 25% of the water, and I just have well water, so I don't have any chlorine coming in, and I've tested the well water. It's pretty dang clean, and it's neutral on everything. It holds a pH of around 7.2. I have noticed the pH come up a little bit, and I've been doing some buffering of the pH. I've added baking soda, which has buffered it a little bit. Of course, baking soda will actually raise pH, but after it raises it, then it actually gets broken down by ammonia, and will go back down and actually go a little acidic. So, but it's a good buffer. So I'm learning a little bit more about that, and I could have said that all wrong. But as far as the fish go, so as far as their behavior, they've been hiding a lot. They really hide a lot. They don't come out and play much, at least not when I'm around. I see them, as soon as I approach, they scurry off to the hiding spot under there. So I'm still, I may need to retrain them. There's some ideas on that. It could also just be the high ammonia levels. I've read that they can make fish a little skittish. So as soon as I get the ammonia levels under control, that may just solve it. The other thought is actually just bringing in a couple of goldfish, and goldfish are extremely stupid and will just come to anything. And so they'll watch the goldfish come and eat, and hopefully that'll make them come up a little more. Also going to try some just conditioning with a bell. But yeah, they used to just come right up, and they were just really gutsy, but not so much anymore. So we'll see why. I don't know if something's come in here and scared them. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I have some other ideas for increasing the filtration of that. Actually having this go into another smaller pot, similar to a galvanized can like that, just so it looks nice. And then having a filter go opposite which you'd normally think of, where it drains from the top down to the bottom. Here we're going from the bottom up and out. So you may go from the top down and try a different way. And I'm just going to take advantage of this. I'm also going to add an aerator in there, just a standard one for an aquarium, just to get some oxygen in the water. Oxygen is going to help with the ammonia levels, because we need good bacteria to break down the ammonia. So that's that.